Alright, how we going, guys? Welcome to the first ever League with Dave recap. And I was gonna do last week's the round fours matches, but I got them all right, and I didn't want to sound like one of those. Oh yeah, I knew they'd win, because then I'd sound like a know-it-all. So I thought at first I thought I only got two right, but when they did count up, I was actually quite sure I got a couple more right. But there were some shocks, that's for sure. First Thursday night footy, the Rabbitohs versus the Broncos. The Broncos are getting better and better. They're not good enough to make the finals, but I just don't think they're bad enough to get another wooden spoon. So the fans shouldn't have to worry about that unless some of the young stars get major injuries. The Rabbitohs, on the other hand, yeah, it looks like they're a grand final team, that's for sure. They're playing like real pros, obviously. The highlights, well, what I saw of Rabbitohs highlight was Benji Marshall starting, 36 years old, still proves that he's got it, scores the first try. And Adam Reynolds kicks the first ever 2-minute field goal, 2-point field goal. Whoops. And well, the Broncos, their fullback, Jermaine Asako, he's getting better and better each and every time. So he's got a huge future, that's for sure. And then for the first game for Friday night footy, was a lot tighter than what I thought it was. I can't say it was a good game. It wasn't a bad game exactly, because there was neck and neck until the last minute. But yeah, the Warriors, they just don't have experienced enough halves. They had a good enough forward pack to keep up with Manly, but I just thought Manly were like at that pace where they still needed Tom Trbojevic, but they proved me wrong, that's for sure. And the Warriors' highlight of the game was making Manly kick a field goal in the last minute. And while Manly's highlight is they're not a one-man team, I really thought because Tom Trbojevic comes back next week, which I'll say in a video later on today, I thought they'd need him to spark him back up, but they did it just. And then the second game of Friday night footy, Panthers versus Raiders. Well, hey, son of a bitch. I thought that'd be a lot tighter, but Panthers were just way better than Raiders, which should surprise me a little bit. All right. Yeah, well, Jerome Louis, he's proven to be one of the. He's keeps proving he's an upcoming Harvey. Set up two tries and scored one on his own. Did I get that right? Yeah, well, he set up 2 tries, both for Charlie Jeans, and yeah, scored one himself. That's right. I'm now for one. And the Panthers highlight, well, they're still undefeated. It's going to take a mighty team to beat them, that's for sure. And Jared Croker is 4th with 2,182 points, overtaking Andrew Johns, 1,274. 1,174. Now, Titans versus Newcastle, I expected that loss because Blake Green isn't that great, but I thought they'd be a lot better. They'd be a lot better. And I should have known when Kalen Ponga kicked it out on the full from kickoff that Titans were going to win. Because Dave Fafita is a monster, scoring 2 tries, and Kevin Proctor is 32 years old and he can still play pretty well. I guess and the Titans highlight is after 5 rounds they're in the top 8, and the Newcastle highlight is well, have made more tackles than the Titans. That's all about they did. They weren't very that good. They really need Mitchell Pearce almost as much as they needed Andrew Johns. And then Bulldogs versus Storm. I knew Storm was going to win that one very well. But the Bulldogs are slowly getting better because they didn't lose by 52 points, it's by 30 points. So they're getting better. Okay, well, I did mention that the return of Josh Jackson, captain, and Luke Thompson, South Sydney's Luke Thompson, and he came back and he scored the first try, and yeah, he's pretty good forward. So yeah, I guess the Bulldogs highlight is they finally scored since first try since round 1, and the Storm's highlights is they scored 50 points, and Harry Grant is back. He played his first game for the Storm since 2019 because he was, as you know, he was on loan to the Tigers last year. Roosters versus Sharks. This was their new halves' first challenge, and they did good. The Roosters keep proving that you don't need very experienced halves to win a game. You just need a really good forward pack and good back line and a good fullback wing and centres and that. And yeah, well, both the Drew Hutchinson and Sam Walker both scored tries, and Sam Walker set up once, and yeah. So the Roosters are really proving that they deserve to be up there. I guess I'll talk about that in the video later on about their next game. But yeah, Sharks' highlight was Roosters' highlight is that they don't need Luke Keary as much as people thought it was, especially Nathan Ironmarsh. He thought that they weren't going to make the top 8. Straight there, like, not even giving them a chance. Well, Matty Johns said he reckons they'll make the top 4. I didn't agree with Matty Johns at first, but I guess they might prove it this weekend. But I did think they'll make the top 8 still. Yeah, Sharks' highlight was their lead in half time, and that Will Kennedy's proven to be quite a good fullback. He's got a bit of a future. He's got a future. West Tigers versus Cowboys. Now that was a shock. I can't even say Valentine Times. Once Valentine Times started playing fullback, they play a lot better because it didn't do that much. It was more Scott Drinkwater, their 5'8" Scott Drinkwater and Murray Tuali, who scored 2 tries that Drinkwater set up, and he scored one himself. And oh wow, the boos the West Tigers got at halftime. Holy dooly. It was like Phil Gould was at Suncorp Stadium talking in front of all the Queensland fans. It was heavy. It must have been spotted a little bit because they made a bit of a comeback, but the Cowboys were just too far in front for them to catch up. And mind you, leading up to Scott, the second try, that was a bit of a forward pass, but let that pass, I guess. Cowboys. And the final game of the round, Eagles versus Dragons. I can't say I'm shocked, I'm just shocked at the scoreline. The Dragons were 18-0 at halftime, and the Eagles just couldn't catch up. They only scored 2 tries in the second half, and the Dragons just wiped them off. So, Dragons Highlanders, they've taken Newcastle's place as underdogs. They're up there with Titans. And the Eels highlighters Matt Duffy, Corey Norman, Adam Clonehave. Hang on. They didn't have much of a highlight. They scored 2 tries and they were a top 4 team last year. They're a little disappointing. I guess they just got to make less errors than that. Alright guys, that's my first recap. The first game starts at 7, so I will try and get my video about that round 5 or 6. Catch you later.